Hello. Continuation of the show here in my at Dade Prep Academy in Miami, Florida. I'm sitting down now. Welcome to our show, Manifest, Enlightenment and Soar. I'm sitting down with Mr. Andy Prieto, at Dade Prep Academy in Miami, Florida. I'm sitting down now. Welcome to our show, Manifest, Enlightenment and Soar. I'm sitting down with Mr. Andy Prieto, co-owner, board member of Dade Prep Academy in this wonderful city of Miami. What is your passion, Andy? Where did it come from, and when did you start wanting to help people? Were you young? Were you a kid? Was it more recent?
Andy Prieto, co-founder and board member of Dade Prep Academy. It's a pleasure to be here, Kip. Thank you for having me. Thank you for this interview. I would have to say my journey started when I was very young as a child, growing up in New York. I'm from Queens. I'm a Queens boy, New York City.
Manhattan.
Born and raised. Okay.
New Yorkers.
Big Apple.
Yes.
Where dreams are made. City that never sleeps.
Yes.
I grew up, born and raised, Queens, and it wasn't the easiest upbringing, as you know. Survival of the fittest, New York in the 80s and 90s, wasn't very easy. It's a little tough. Growing up in that environment, it was 5 of us living in a 1-bedroom apartment. My dad worked night shift at a factory, and he was able to support us year in, year out. A very hardworking man. When I was 14 years old, my dad suddenly passed away. He was involved in a terrible accident, bike accident. And he left us from one day to another. A week before he passed away, the words that I remember from my dad as he was tucking me in, putting me to sleep since he had the night shift, was, "Son, in life, you must always see the importance in education." My father said to me as he was tucking me in, always progress, always be about progress, always see the importance in education and in moving those beside you forward. Always take everyone forward, always move forward, and just always be there for your loved ones. These were very impactful words that I remember from my dad days before he passed away tragically. I guess that was the source of my inspiration to try to make the most of myself, Kip, to try to look beyond my capabilities. What can I do to help others, not just those around me in my home, not my immediate family, but what I could do for others around me, period, the environment, the community. So that was the source of my motivation. And I think that since, I've been 14, since I was 14 years old, that's what I held on dear.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Very powerful story. Very impactful, powerful story. When was it, or what year, and how did you find out about Dade Prep Academy? Officially certified. It was with public schools. It thrived in the 2020 pandemic, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah. So fast forward, since once I reached high school, I went into the military. I went to the Marine Corps. Hoorah to all my veterans out there. When I got out, I really just started reflecting on what's next. In the early 2000s, I found my way to South Florida as an entrepreneur, had several businesses. I was involved with sports entertainment, media, working with professional athletes. I found that being an entrepreneur and being in business for myself was what I was passionate about, what I wanted to do. I felt if I wanted to make the most impact, I wanted to start a business, grow it organically, and just make a lot of money. At the end of the day, this is how it's done in America. As Don King says, only in America. Fast forward 2014, 2015, I was involved in a project, a publishing project with a famous story with about a high profile athlete. We did Taming the Beast, the untold story of Mike Tyson. That book was an instant success for me. I worked directly with Rory Holloway, who was Mike's manager for over 30 years. And that was the highlight of my career, I want to say. We got that story in over 30 countries. And, for 3 years, it was just an amazing run. 2017 came around. Then I asked myself the same question I did years before. What's next, Kip? What's next? What do I do with myself, in my mid-30s?
Right.
I met my wife, fiance back then, and she brought me the idea. It was her idea to start Dade Prep Academy, a private school that can be impactful in the community. She started within the school system as a counselor, having that inner working insight and experience working with kids, at-risk students, and offering them options, alternative solutions, so they can catch up in credits and graduate with their high school diploma. At first, I got to admit, I didn't really believe that this concept would work. I mean, who makes money in education? Certainly teachers don't. But when I started really doing some due diligence and realized that not only is it a profitable, lucrative business opportunity, but you're also helping the community, and you can make that impact that my father made very clear to me in my early teens. So fast forward, the pandemic hit. It was a global catastrophic event that affected everybody, and the world just stood still. And as this happened, schools started withdrawing students, families, and students just did not want to go back to public school. It wasn't working anymore at the time. So being able to offer a solution, an alternative program to help at-risk students achieve their goals and succeed with graduation, with their high school diploma, was invaluable. We went from 0 to 100 to 200 to 400 to 500 students. I don't even know how many students we have anymore. Instant success. And since the pandemic, we've graduated over 1,200 students that have obtained their high school diploma. Very impactful, and I just feel like we're getting started. So back to the question about a certification. So going through this process, I was advised to become a registered lobbyist with Miami-Dade County Public Schools, which I did, and lobby for education reform and become certified with the public schools as well. What that's going to do is it's going to build the confidence from City Hall to upper administration, public school officials, to be able to speak to them openly with what we're able to offer as a private program and how we can affiliate ourselves with the public school district of Miami-Dade County and beyond.
Wow, that's pretty outstanding, pretty incredible story. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Miami-Dade has been affiliated with public schools since 2009. Please explain.
Well, for 2009, as my partner, Dr. De Jesus, explained, she started the original school model program here at this location in Cutler Bay. Since 2009, they were focusing primarily on students with minor disabilities, learning disabilities, and other underlying learning disabilities. They were working with that particular student base. Fast forward to 2020, when we came into the picture, we restructured the model to focus specifically with the at-risk student population that were coming to us from the public school. These were students that were at risk of not graduating on time, Kip. Students that were falling behind in credits or couldn't pass the Florida state assessments, since that's a graduation requirement for the public schools and the charter schools here in Florida. We bypassed that requirement as a private program, so we were able to accommodate the public schools and take those students that were at risk, that were dropping out, and that were going to go get their GED. See, for us, this is a high school diploma, and since we're fully accredited with Cognia SACS, formerly Advanced Ed, we have the same accreditation as the public school. So the diploma is practically the same. It just says a different school, Dade Prep Academy.
Nice. Thank you so much. Where did the idea spark? Let's start a private school.
You know, as I mentioned prior, when my wife mentioned, or initially we started the preliminary discussions about this concept, this project. Again, I didn't really believe. I didn't think there was much there. I had to look into where's the funding going to come from.
Sure.
But then our great governor, Governor DeSantis,
yes,
opened up the universal school choice voucher for the state of Florida, providing opportunities for school choice so that families have the ability to choose whether they want homeschooling, a private school, a charter school. They have options for their kids to go to school and learn and get a quality education and money to follow that choice. With Florida being one of the highest paying states in the school choice coalition, 32 states in the United States currently participate in similar programs. I realized that if money follows that choice, then we would get our funding from the state, similar to the way public schools and charter schools get their funds. But here's the misconception. A lot of public school officials and families and unions think that private schools or school choice vouchers it's the same pot of money that's being allocated for public and charter schools. This is not the case. These are private tax credits that are available for these private programs, which we call the school choice vouchers from the state of Florida. So once I realized where our funding would be coming from, the need that the public schools would have after COVID, and even prior to COVID with the at-risk student population, the community needs, we created a model that was based on a private school program that's free to the community. I never heard of anything that existed like this, and it was an instant success.
Wonderful. So private school free to the community?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wonderful.
We were initially charging fees, but we realized it's not that the community can't pay. It's just that everyone has this mindset that education should be free. But I agree with them, because education is as fundamental of a right as free speech. I believe that education is a choice and it should be free. But not only should it be free, it shouldn't only be offered by the federal government. It should be offered by multiple entities.
Agreed. Yeah. Agreed 100%. Public schools, for example, a student withdraws and then transfers to Dade Prep Academy. Funding from the school choice vouchers, tax credits get collected by private entities around the state. How does the transfer process work for the student? What other vouchers are there?
So the families go directly to the state that provides the voucher options. They register, they apply, and they are able to make the choice then and let the state know my child is going to this school. Once they provide the necessary documentation that's requested by the state, vouchers, then they get approved. And once they get approved, they register at the school, and the school is able to obtain those funds from the state through a third-party payment system, or like an escrow agent that's able to disperse the funds directly to the school. There are other vouchers. There are tax credits, educational options, the voucher for unique abilities. Those are students that have a learning disability. They get a little bit more money that gets allocated for tuition and fees for private schools. There are other vouchers for homeschooling, what I believe they're called PEP, if I'm not mistaken, where funds go direct to the parents so that they can invoice and get reimbursed for other expenses like tutoring or whatever other necessary programs their child needs.
Yeah, sign up, do it, guys. Andy, there's 100% graduation rate. Congratulations, simply outstanding. Congratulations to all the students as well. 110%. This is only the beginning and a prototype to retrack and restart a pathway of a lifetime of success for each individual. Why is there a 100% graduation rate? What is different here that works?
Look, I'm gonna make a joke about this one. There's only two things that are 100% in life: death and taxes. And now there's a third thing: a diploma from Dade Prep Academy.
Yeah, go get your diploma from Dade Prep Academy.
Let me explain what that is, Kip.
Yeah.
I know 100%. There's nothing guaranteed, and as a trained entrepreneur, as a business executive, when someone tells me that this project, the transaction, is guaranteed, I get a little scared.
Yeah.
But there's nothing guaranteed.
Yeah.
In anything that we know of, but those things I mentioned. Why do we have a graduation rate that is flawless? Because when that student walks through our door, we're gonna make sure they get to the finish line if they stay with us. There is no not finishing is not an option here at Dade Prep. We will push that student. If they need support, we will get one of our agencies to assist. If they require tutoring, we will make sure they get the assistance necessary to succeed, to progress, and to complete the graduation requirement. That's why we have such a high rate, because everyone will finish their diploma. And we're not handing them out. Let's not be mistaken. You can't come in here and say, I'll give you $10,000 for a diploma. That's not what we do here. We tell them, if that was to happen, I would throw them out of here and close the door, because that's never going to happen here at Dade Prep Academy. We don't hand out diplomas. You're going to earn it, and we're going to help you earn it, and you're going to graduate with your diploma. And I also tell the families, you're going to have 99 problems, but a diploma for your child won't be one.
I like that one. That's a good one. Reminds me of home, actually.
New York, baby.
New York. Strategically, has City Hall helped?
That's a very good question. Once I became a registered lobbyist with the public school system here, I was able to meet with City Hall officials in Miami-Dade, in Broward County, in Palm Beach County. And to my surprise, everyone's been very, very supportive, very pro-choice. This is a state that really embraces school choice, because this state understands that everyone has to work together, public schools, charter schools, and private schools, to accommodate the same goal, which is help the community and help these kids reach success by graduating with their diploma and providing options. Another great incentive, another part of our core business model, and this is why City Hall officials embrace us with open arms, is career development. We want our kids to have college options, post-secondary options, any university they choose. And if they're not the university bound, or that's not the environment for them, we provide technical vocational colleges for a career of choice where they can get a career in a year, whether it's electrician, plumbing, construction, IT, or they want to start their own business. We want to provide those resources for them, or the military, the U.S. military, any branch they choose. When I explain this to City Hall officials in the surrounding area and here in Miami-Dade, I mean, how could they not love what we're here to offer? This is at the core community economic development.
Well said. 100% agreed. Where and how can people find information about Dade Prep Academy?
Yes, you can go on our website, www.dadeprep.com. That's DADEPREP.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Dade Prep 01, or Instagram or IG, I believe is Dade Prep. Find us on there, check out our site. And if you're interested, remember, you're going to get your diploma if you put in the work.
And so I see a wonderful opportunity for a lot of people to earn a diploma and then learn some tools, survivor skills, education, for applying it to whatever trade with an aftermath too, whether it's the Army, the Marines, the U.S. Air Force, or military, some branch, or into like Andy was saying before, into a mechanic trade, or into a computer trade, or something of that sort, or into a university. This is a front door to walk into for people who feel like they might not be getting their needs met in school, or if they're just not satisfied with what's going on in their personal educational life. I suggest everyone sign up to my
DadePrep.com. Yeah.
Everyone sign up to DadePrep.com and get registered and start a future of success.
Thank you for having me, Kip. I just want to say one last thought. I'm excited to be a part of this, and thank you. Visit our website. We're here to help the community. This being my first education project, I'd like to say I'm very grateful for the opportunity to work with the community. I've had quite a bit of success, professional success throughout my career, but I want to say that this is the highlight. I mentioned some before, but this is the most success that I've had, that I'm having. And, wearing this badge to me is a responsibility. This is a fiduciary responsibility that I have with the public, with the community. I'm not an elected official, but I feel like I am one, because our responsibility here is to make sure that these kids graduate with that diploma and have the tools to succeed. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure, Andy. It's been a pleasure, Andy Prieto. Thank you so much. Okay, humans, or average human, has a tendency to look at individuals and see differences, borders, so to speak, pointing the finger inwards and seeing similarities. Common ground is key, opposed to the differences. Is world peace possible? Is it attainable? If so, how?
That's a great question. I don't think we have enough time today to answer that one. Very interesting times we're living in, with everything that we see in the news, everything that's going on in the world. In my opinion, I think that everyone just has to do their part. Instead of pointing the finger left or pointing the finger right or up or down, point it inward. Point it in here. Point it up here. Look in the mirror. What can you do? What is your part to play here to make a difference? And it starts with one person. Look at with me as an example in making the decision and choice to help start this wonderful project. And now we've graduated over 1,000 students. It takes one person to make that choice, and you can make a big difference. So I think that if we all look within ourselves, and this is everyone, if everyone looked in the mirror and really asked themselves that question, what can I do? I think that would be the starting point to world peace.
So go look in the mirror and ask yourself, what could you do?
Don't look at how you look. Ask yourself, what can I do?
Exactly.
That mirror, you know what that mirror is to me? Accountability.
What is peace to you?
I think peace is much more than just not being at war. I think that just nations or people or communities not killing each other. I think peace is much deeper than that, than the physical form of it. I think peace is a mindset. I think being at peace with yourself, which goes back to the question of accountability, is when you're at peace with yourself, when you're comfortable with yourself, then you can be comfortable with another. So that is peace to me, the self-peace.
Ultimately well said. Thank you, Andy. As long as one student, person, or individual makes that change, one student, person, or community member reaches their pinnacles. They reach to the top of their game. In the mind, in the brain, with knowledge base and education, mentally, emotionally, and in the physical world. We can change for the better and succeed in life. Improvement of self and others is key to help support the integrity and intelligence of mankind for future generations to come. thank you so much for your time sitting down with me.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
And it's an honor. It's an honor.
Honor is mine.
Basically, this is a book, my children's book, The Wonderful Adventures of Lemur Blue. I'm going to donate a copy of this book to Dade Prep Academy to present it to Andy.
Thank you very much. Excited. We will definitely read it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
100%.
For the boxing fans out there, you know, Mike's getting back in the ring with
My father
Jake.
was a boxer in the
Okay.
Army.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
a long time ago.
Well, we know Mike Tyson's getting in the ring with Jake Paul, July 20th in Arlington, Texas.
Oh, wow.
My opinion, Mike's going to knock him out. But you guys get yourself your copy of Taming the Beast, Untold Story of Mike Tyson, available on Amazon.
Wow.
Get yourself a copy and read the story. This very interesting, sizzling, untold story of how Mike made $400 million, the biggest contract in sports history. You know, he was on his way to be the first billion-dollar athlete. Way before we hear mention of LeBron James, Michael Jordan, and all these guys making. Mike Tyson was the first to do it in a sport that's unregulated. Mike Tyson, get yourself a copy, and you guys can get the untold story.
So thank you for sitting down with me, and thank you for sitting down with me, Andy Prieto. Thank you so much. It's been a real honor, a real pleasure. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us on Manifest Enlightenment and Soar, and we'll tune in next week for another show.